Welcome, beautiful women, to Codes of the Feminine Summit, where we are reclaiming the womb, the body, and the feminine codes. My name is Denise Kennedy, and I'm your host and the creatrix of this event. This gathering is devoted to remembering the wisdom of the feminine, the intelligence of the body, the power of our cyclical nature, the sovereignty of our boundaries, and the deep creative knowing held within the womb space. And our theme today is Womb as Temple, a sacred remembering that the womb is not simply an organ, but a profound energetic and creative center within the feminine body. I'm deeply honored to be joined by Emmy Mutali, whose topic is Join the Sacred Womb Revolution. Emmy, I'm truly grateful you're here.
Oh, thank you, Denise. It is such a blessing to be part of this beautiful summit and always lovely to connect with you.
Exactly. Thank you again. So for those who may not be familiar with your work, Emmy, Emmy Mutali is an intuitive healer, energy medicine practitioner, and a shamanic womb priestess and teacher. She's dedicated to reawakening ancient feminine wisdom. She takes women on transformational healing journeys with the intention of raising the frequency of our planet and fostering deep healing and new earth leadership, one womb at a time. I love that, Emmy. One womb at a time. How beautiful. So, Emmy, just to start, I guess I wanted just to bring into context, and this is from my own personal story as well. And so many women feel disconnected from their bodies and their wombs. It's often through pain, trauma, medical experiences, or simply through living in a world that teaches us to override our bodies rather than listen to them. And I can certainly relate to that. And so I wanted to ask you as we open today is, could you share a little bit about what first called you into this work with the sacred womb?
Absolutely. And I resonate with what you were saying there as well in a big, big way. I was completely disconnected from my own womb space until my mid to late 30s, really. Even though I'd been pregnant 3 times and given birth twice, I was connecting with my babies within the womb, but not with the womb herself. And the idea that the womb could indeed be this cauldron of ancient feminine wisdom and power, this portal into other dimensions, this sacred cave of manifestation was completely foreign to me. And I was very much living in the masculine energy of doing and pushing myself and climbing the career ladder and seeking for external validation all the time. And I was kind of introduced to the womb through an experience that involves Yeshua, that involves Mother Mary. And it's really beautiful because it was the sacred masculine that led me to the sacred feminine. Because just to give you a little bit of a background, when I was around 15 or so, I kind of threw away anything to do with religion, especially Christianity. So the idea of a bearded male god went out the window. The idea of Yeshua, to a certain extent, also went out the window. Even the idea of angels, as they were depicted to us in the Christian context, went out the window. And then over time, I was still on the spiritual journey and I did a lot of meditations. And at some point, as I was in meditation, Yeshua started appearing to me. No matter what kind of a meditation I did, there he would be. And I was like, what are you doing here? What on earth are you doing here? And slowly, our connection deepened and he became one of my main guides. And he's been supporting me in a big, big way since then. And one of the biggest blessings of this connection with Yeshua was the fact that he took me to Mother Mary. And again, Mother Mary is now my main guide. She supports me in all that I do, my work, my personal life, everything. But at the time, she didn't really mean much to me at all. I knew about her through the Bible, sure, but the idea that she's actually this highly trained womb priestess, this badass avatar who's gone through lifetime after lifetime of spiritual learnings and became really the highest possible spiritual master in that lifetime. That is something that only started to open up for me later on. And when Yeshua brought me to Mother Mary, that is when I started to dig deeper onto the path of the divine feminine as well. That's when all these books and all these articles and all these interviews and YouTube videos suddenly started coming through for me. And it still took a little while for me to connect my journey with the womb space. But again, through many, many synchronicities, beautiful initiations, I came across the work of Seren and Ezra Bertrand, who wrote the amazing Womb Awakening book, and also at the time were still teaching people. So they were running the Womb Awakening apprenticeship. So when I found out about this apprenticeship, I felt that this was exactly the right thing for me to do. And I signed up. Again, a few synchronicities happened there as well, but I signed up. And it really felt like it was the missing piece. Starting to learn about the womb, the power and the beauty of the womb, for me, was like putting the final puzzle piece into exactly the right slot for it. And things just started to shift and open up for me in a very, very big way after that.
Wow. That's such a story, and there's a lot to unpack in that, Emmy. I think like you said, it's Yeshua who led you into the divine feminine. And when I think about it, it is, as we talk about masculine and feminine, it is that masculine who's holding the feminine and guiding her and containing her. So it's absolutely that. And you also mentioned about, there was so many synchronicities, and that's just it, isn't it? We never know the path ahead of us. It's following those breadcrumbs, those little nudges, isn't it? And the book falling off the shelf, the course, and that book, Womb Awakening, was one of the first books I read a few years ago on the womb as well. And it's just transformative. So yeah, so amazing. So why is connecting with our womb so important in these times of transformation?
Mm. Well, the womb is really the key to everything at the moment. We as humanity are at a huge choice point. We can either choose to continue the way of patriarchy, which is really about conquering materialism, division, control, and coercion through fear in so many ways. And we've seen the results of thousands of years of patriarchy in a huge way on the global scale, especially over the past few years. And if we look at the number of conflicts and wars that seem to be mushrooming at the moment, that is the result of all of us buying into a system that is not honoring the sacredness of all life, and that is not for the highest good of humanity or any other living beings on our planet. And the choice that we can make is either to continue to follow that path, or to choose an entirely different path, which is founded on ancient wisdom,
Mhm.
specifically and feminine wisdom, and that is founded on love, compassion, and kindness, and where we truly recognize the sacredness of all living beings on our planet. We recognize that
Mhm.
Mother Earth herself is a living, breathing organism on her own ascension journey as well. And where we also honor the beings, the elemental beings, beings that we may or may not be able to see, who are coexisting with us all the time. And when we start to talk about this path of love, compassion, and kindness, how do we
Yeah.
birth? How do we collectively birth that? How do we individually birth that? It is through the womb space, because the womb is the creation point of it all. So we need to remember inherently, and patriarchy is trying to disconnect us from this truth, but creation in and of itself is an inherently feminine principle. All life
Yes.
is created within and through the womb. And when we remember this, because we know this deep in our
Mhm.
cellular memory, deep in our bones and our DNA, we know this. When we reclaim that knowing, that's when it becomes possible for us as a humanity, as a collective, to really truly start to birth that new earth where we honor each other, where we see each other as divine beings, as sparks of life, as these miracles, who have the incredible privilege of living on this beautiful planet of ours in these times of change and transformation, which can feel really crazy and chaotic and even scary, even hopeless at times, but are so pregnant with potential. We
Mm,
literally are in the birth canal for the new earth. We are in the birth throes or pangs, or however you like to call that, of this birthing process. And when we learn to connect with the womb and we start to truly listen to her wisdom, we follow those nudges that you were talking about. I call them the womb winks. So when we have the courage to follow those womb winks, and when we have the courage to walk the path of love, to walk the path of truth,
mm.
then anything is possible for us.
Wow. I love that. Womb winks. I must remember that. That's beautiful, womb winks. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we've been conditioned as a society and in our cultures to follow the mind. And, we've been conditioned to it. Go, 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 go. And it's not, and we're staying in our heads. And some of us come down to our hearts, but not many of us come down to our womb. And if I go back several years ago, and I'd already been on the spiritual path for quite some time, I was afraid to connect with my womb. Like you said, you had connected with your womb initially when you were pregnant with your babies. It was the same for me. It was only when I was carrying my daughter that I had that connection with my womb. And when I started learning about the power of the womb and read the book by Sarah Nanazra Betron, I was almost afraid because I knew the womb was so powerful. I was afraid to go there. So, what would you say to any woman who has a fear to connect with the womb and what it might bring up, I guess?
Hmm. Well, I think the most important thing to realize is that that fear is something that's been programmed into our minds. It's a conditioning of and by patriarchy, and it has been very systematically put into place for thousands of years, precisely because the womb is so powerful, and precisely because when we are connected to our womb wisdom, we are incredibly powerful. And when we as a collective, women and men, are tuned into womb wisdom, whether it's collective womb consciousness or the physical organ inside our bodies, we become completely unbeatable. And that is what those who are behind the scenes, holding the strings, running the show at the moment, that is what they are so afraid of.
They're
And that
afraid that we connect with our power, basically.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, absolutely. So if you are indeed in a similar situation where you are scared to connect with your womb, scared to see what's actually going to come through when you connect with that, my advice to you would be to really step into your power around this, because we need you. We need you connected to your womb power. We need you connected to your womb wisdom. And as much as the womb can hold quite a bit of wounding and trauma because of all the experiences we've had in these particular lifetimes, trauma that we hold from past lives, trauma that we've taken on from our ancestors, or collective trauma from the experiences of women for thousands of years within patriarchy. And that can be scary. But
Mm.
the blessings and the gifts that come through when we have the courage to face those wounds and work through them, bring healing into them, release them, the gifts and the blessings far outweigh that journey. That in the tantric world, we say that the only way through is through.
Yes,
So you
exactly.
to be able to get to your next level of expansion, to
Mm.
your next level of growth, your next level of spiritual expansion, there are certain initiations we need to go through. And very often, those initiations involve having the courage to look deeply within ourselves and face the wounds and the trauma that are blocking us from truly becoming who we are meant to be, and that are blocking us from remembering that we are divine beings and that we co create the reality that we live in.
Mm.
And the womb plays a central role in all of that.
So beautiful, so beautiful. And now that I'm coming out the other side. I mean, it's ongoing. There's always healing. It's ongoing. But I can absolutely see the healing and the gifts that have been brought to me personally. And I guess, what do you see? You've worked with so many women. What begins to happen slowly, I guess, in those healing and those gifts emerging? And another thing I wanted to mention is as well how it's so important to be held safely by somebody when we're doing this work, isn't it, Emma? Really important, like somebody like you've helped me while I've been doing this work. And that is crucial to have that support, I would say.
Yeah, I do agree because this kind of healing work can bring up a lot of memories, a lot of suppressed memories, trauma that we're not even consciously aware of. And of course, working with trauma that we are consciously aware of can feel very scary, can feel very harrowing. So having somebody hold you through that, hold that sacred space for you and remind you of your power at all times,
Mhm.
very, very important. We don't want to get re-traumatized. We don't want to get stuck in a cycle or a loop where the memories intensify rather than start to be diluted and become empowering rather than disempowering. So it's really, really important to work with somebody who has the right kind of training and who
Yeah,
understands means to hold someone who's going through a trauma release process. And there's a lot of people
absolutely.
out there offering all kinds of work. So discernment is very, very important. So really listening to your womb, listening to your body around who feels resonant, who feels aligned. And even if there's even an inkling of doubt there, then maybe wait or find somebody else that resonates even more.
That's
Because one
so,
thing,
so
if I may
important.
add
Yeah.
just
Yes,
one
go
more
ahead.
thing to that, because feeling safe within the nervous system is absolutely the foundation for any kind of healing. And it's absolutely the foundation for creating for ourselves the kinds of lives we want to lead and for creating the collective reality as well. If we are in a constant state of fear, or our bodies are in a constant state of constriction, where we are either consciously or subconsciously constantly looking over our shoulders, waiting for the next attack, almost waiting for the next bad thing to happen, then our bodies are incapable of relaxing. And it's only when the nervous system is in that state of relaxation, in that state of calm, that healing truly can happen, that inspiration truly can start to flow, and those creative energies, those primordial creation and creative
Mhm.
energies start to flow in a very, very different way.
And how do women begin to start regulating their nervous system? Is there any small practice, little tip that you could give them today for somebody who is sort of something is coming up in their memory, something that they can do while working, obviously, with somebody who is guiding them? How do you sort of work with women when we're looking at the nervous system?
Mhm. There's a few different, really powerful but simple ways that you can do at any time, almost anywhere where you are. Number one, I think, would be connection with nature. If you're able to find a forest, or you're able to go to a beach or go to a meadow in a natural state, just spending time there and placing your bare feet on the ground, directly in contact with grass or soil or in the water is incredibly healing. Just simply that is already incredibly healing. If you are, let's say, at home or you are in a meeting or in a busy mall, for example, and it's not possible for you to connect with nature directly, then you can work with your breath. The breath is incredibly powerful, and learning to work with your breath consciously, even if it means that you are breathing into the count of four, pausing for the count of four, breathing out for the count of four, and breathing in for the count of four. It's called box breathing, is very, very calming. And you can do that anywhere you are. What I use mainly with clients, especially the ones who do have deep trauma, are methods like tapping and EFT and matrix re-imprinting, which are scientifically proven to calm down the nervous system, bring up emotions and bring up memories that are ready to surface, that are ready to be healed, to be seen, to be validated, and to be healed. And when I talk about tapping, I'm talking about a beautiful, powerful method where we are literally just stimulating specific acupressure points on our bodies. Same ones acupuncturists would use with needles, but we simply use our fingers. And simply the act of tapping in and of itself already starts to calm down the system. Then we add words and statements to that. So the mind becomes involved in it too. And through those processes, we can very quickly start to bring true calm, true sense of peace into our body so that the healing can then truly happen. And matrix reimprinting takes the tapping process even deeper, because with matrix reimprinting, we are connecting with younger versions of ourselves or past life versions of ourselves or ancestors, and working with those moments when the trauma was formed. So let's say that when I was 5 years old, I was yelled at a teacher in my kindergarten and called a bad girl. So I would have taken on the belief that I'm a bad girl. There's nothing I can do about it. And then from that moment on, I am attracting into my life people and experiences that confirm that statement, that I'm a bad girl. So for example, at school, I might do really badly in exams, and that's my interpretation of being a bad girl. Then I move into work life, I make mistakes, I'm a bad girl, my boss yells at me. And then it, continues, ripples into marriages, into relationships, and so on. And it all starts from this seemingly unimportant, insignificant event that took place in kindergarten. And that little girl, that 5-year-old version of me, kind of keeps on reliving that trauma within the matrix, so to speak, until we go back and work with her directly so that we're able to change her beliefs about what happened and offer her an empowering way to continue on from that moment. And that then will have a massive, expansive impact on our lives in the here and now as well.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of parts of our childhood that we bring into the world as adults, and then there's this inner child work, and as you've spoken about the matrix imprints to work through. But it's amazing how our first 7 years, and not just throughout our lives, everything, as you said, the teacher or whatever, something that's said and you've imprinted it. But what came to me as you were giving us these little practices we could do for the nervous system is they were all either connected with nature, Mother Earth, or with our bodies. They were all, and just so they're amazing. And there's 5-minute things that everybody at home can do anytime during the day, and EFT tapping, as you mentioned as well. So thank you for that. And now you've mentioned a few times about the gifts of the womb and the creativity and the intuition and the power of our womb. So what kind of empowerment emerges, and how does it emerge when we start working with the womb and the power that that center brings to us?
I think that's a little bit different for each and every one of us, depending on the
Yeah.
life and soul experiences we've had and the kind of baggage we're carrying within ourselves. But what I have seen after a number of years of working with possibly thousands of women now all around the world is that there's this sense of deep inner knowing that starts to come through, and really quite quickly through the connection with the womb. And there's this kind of like a conviction that I am here, I am important, I matter, I'm here for a purpose. And that is something that's missing for so many of us. It's almost like we're walking these journeys of ours half asleep. And again, through conditioning, through programming, not because it's our own fault, but there's such a lot of pressure, most of it very, very subtle. We don't even realize it, but there's so much pressure on us to remain disconnected from our power and from our divinity. as well.
Yeah.
And of course, when the healing starts to happen,
Mm.
that can lead to improved relationships. That can lead to this courage of speaking our truths, of truly opening up our throat chakras and being able to express ourselves in a very, very different way. The flowing in of our creative intelligence. So suddenly
Yeah.
we start to get these ideas about books or poetry or art or songs or some other kinds of projects that just need to be birthed into the world. And what I've also seen, because I work also a lot with wounds such as the mother wound and the sister wound. So what I'm also seeing is this beautiful reparation of relationships, so mother-daughter relationships and woman-to-woman relationships that may have been strained for a very long time. And then suddenly there's these little openings, these little coming comings to homes. I don't even know how to say that, but these little returns to home
Yes.
start to happen, reconnections, forgiveness, um, new depths in relationships overall. And and actually, this is a really important one, the honoring and reverence of our own bodies exactly the way we are. And that's a journey that I've been on my whole life as well. But the more you connect with the womb, the more you start to honor your true purpose, your presence, your divinity, the
Mm.
more peace there is also with your body, and the more your body thrives in that as well, because that becomes a relationship of love and acceptance and inspiration and encouragement.
That is a huge one. I mean, really important. It's like when you're connecting with your womb, when you're reconnecting with your body and you're starting to treat yourself as yeah, and your body as a temple, isn't it? And you mention about, and I think this is really important to stress, is when we're healing ourselves, and you mentioned the connection with our daughters or with our mothers, when we're healing ourselves, we're also healing the lines before us and the lines ahead, so our mothers and our daughters, essentially, isn't it? Because our wombs are so connected. Is that correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, through our wombs, we are literally connected to the very first mothers on our planet.
Yeah.
And down our mother line to the very first woman who became the birther of our specific lineages. And then, of
Yeah.
course, at some point, all of those interlink and interweave with each other so that all of us as humanity are in one way or another interlinked. And
Mm.
suddenly the idea that everything is energy and we're all interconnected doesn't sound so strange anymore because we
It doesn't.
really, really are. And I always
Mm.
imagine it as this energetic umbilical cord that stretches from one womb to another and just weaves,
Mm.
binds us together in all these mysterious and magical ways.
It is a mystery, isn't it? It is a mystery and magical. And it's just that we need the word that keeps coming is remembering. It's all about remembering, isn't it? It really is. Mm.
Absolutely. We're just pulling in knowing and
Yeah.
memories are lodged in our bones, in our cellular memory,
Mm.
in our DNA. And that,
Yeah.
again, stretches all the way back to the very first mothers on our planet. So
Mm.
imagine you've got all this knowing just waiting to be tapped into.
Waiting to be tapped into. Yeah. And just before I move on, because you mentioned it, the connection with the womb and the throat and our voice. So when we start to work, do this womb work as well, how it frees our throat and our voice. Would you mind speaking into that for maybe a minute, if that's okay? Because I feel that was really important for me because I was afraid to express my true voice, I guess. And obviously there was the imprinting and the conditioning as well. But as I started working and still am working on my womb, I'm expressing more clearly and I'm not all of a sudden so afraid of being visible. I mean, I would have never done this 2 years ago, for example.
Yeah, kudos to you for doing the work.
Mm.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you look at our anatomy, our physical anatomy, the throat looks very similar to the cervix. Okay, so the structure of it and the actual material that these parts of our bodies are made of look very similar, and they are connected energetically. The same with the vocal cords or the voice box. That looks very similar to the opening of the vulva. And they are energetically connected in a very deep way. So when we work with the throat, we're also automatically working with these with the cervix and with the vulva. And when we're working with the vulva or the cervix, we're automatically also working with the energetics of the throat. And of course, if you think about the suppression and oppression of women that we have suffered for thousands of years under patriarchy, possibly even longer, depending on what civilizations we're looking at. It is our voices that have been suppressed in a massive scale, again, because of the power of our voices, and our sexuality and our sexuality that have been turned or made to feel and seem demonic, evil, something that we should hide, and yet at the same time, pornified. So you see the contradiction there. So on the one hand, we are meant to be seductive, we're meant to be bearing our breasts and our bodies to men. And then at the same time, when we do that, we are labeled as whores and prostitutes and called all kinds of other labels as well. And the absolute sacredness of the reproductive organs, our breasts, the vulva, these have been demonized. And they are the most sacred parts of our bodies. They are what make us women. And when we start to realize that and really, truly unravel how deeply we all carry this wounding and how deeply it is normalized within patriarchy, we should start getting angry.
Yeah.
And it's that anger, that righteous anger, that justified anger, that sacred rage that then should fuel our personal efforts at healing ourselves first and foremost, bringing through that sense of forgiveness for ourselves, and then start to expand that forgiveness to those around us as well. And I truly believe that when more and more of us as women do that work of self-love, that work of forgiveness, we are in a big, big way changing the collective fabric of life as well, the collective consciousness that lives here all around us and within us as well. And of course, men play a huge part in that as well. Absolutely. It's not a competition. And here, women are not more important than men. Both need to do their own sacred work. And men have been hugely wounded by patriarchy as well. But because of how the scales have been so skewed for the past few thousands of years, it is time for now us women to really step into our power and remember who we truly are and acknowledge that we are the ones who are changing the world and birthing the new earth.
One woman at a time, as you said in your bio, but also, and this is what you call the sacred womb revolution, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sacred rage, forgiveness, and it's healing ourselves one womb at a time also heals the collective, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said earlier, it heals those who came before us, heals those who come after us, and that's the ripple effect on the collective energetics as well.
So a revolution of not fighting. It's a revolution of healing, forgiveness, and remembering, and self-love, and unconditional love, I guess, for ourselves and for each other.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's a revolution of consciousness, revolution of awareness, revolution of awakening. And it's also an evolution of consciousness and awakening.
Evolution of consciousness and awakening, and that's what the new earth is. Yeah. Emmy, You have a beautiful activation to share with the women today, and I feel that now is the time. So I would love to just open the space for you to talk about this sacred womb activation and lead women into it. So I'm going to hand it over to you, if that's okay, and I look forward to receiving it too.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So this is a womb activation that is really an opportunity for you to connect with your womb space and start this deeper communion with her. And whether you are new to this or you are more practiced in this womb magic, it doesn't matter. Just allow my words and the frequency of my words to land exactly where they're meant to land today. And importantly, this we didn't touch on yet, but if you no longer have a physical womb, if you've had partial or full hysterectomy, the energy of your womb will always be there. So you can learn to connect with the etheric blueprint of the womb. And that is always available to you. If you're not a mother, it doesn't matter. Our womb's purpose stretches way beyond motherhood, even though that is one of its most sacred, holy purposes. And if you're no longer bleeding, it doesn't matter because you can work with the energetic cycles of your womb and you can connect with the physical and energetic organ as well. So for the activation, let's make sure that we're sitting or lying down comfortably. If it feels safe for you to do so, close your eyes or have them slightly downcast, whatever feels better for you. And I invite you to place one hand over the womb on the lower belly, the other one over the heart. And let's take a couple of really, really deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth, allowing each breath to bring you more fully into the here and now, more fully into your precious body temple, and more fully into this beautiful sacred container that's being created for us here. Beautiful. You're welcome to set an intention in your mind around allowing this activation to land exactly where it's meant to land and bring you the gifts that you're meant to receive in this moment. Now start with an invocation and then flow straight into the activation from there. I call upon the Great Mother, Mother Divine, to come through for us, to hold space for us, to help us see that which needs to be seen, to help us hear that which needs to be heard, to help us feel that which needs to be felt. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I call upon our guides, our teachers, our ancestors, and the guardians of the lands that we dwell on. Welcome. Welcome, Mother Mary. Welcome, Lilith. Blessed be. Now, with your next in-breath, bring your awareness inwards. And then bring that awareness down deep into your womb. And just pause there for a moment at the threshold of the womb. Take a moment to smile at your womb, to say hello to her. Perhaps bow down to her. And if you are new to this might feel really strange at first, but it really is like building a muscle. The more you do it, the more often you do it, the easier it becomes. So consciously form that bond with your womb now. Greet her. Smile at her. And just for a moment, tune into the energy of the womb. How is she feeling right now? Is the energy feeling light, flowing, energized? Or are you sensing more stagnation, perhaps sadness, or even fear? There's no right or wrong here. Whatever it is that you're feeling, acknowledge it and simply observe. And then allow my words to start to enter into your consciousness, into the lining of your womb. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to the very first mothers on our planet. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to the Great Mother, the birther of it all. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to collective womb consciousness. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to the cycles of nature. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to celestial cycles. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are at all times in direct contact with Mother Earth, with Gaia consciousness. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to other dimensions, other times, and other spaces available to you through your womb. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to ancient, primordial feminine wisdom and knowing. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are a portal for new life, new souls to be birthed into this realm. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to the cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to the triple goddess, Maiden, Mother, Crone. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to your creative powers. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to your power to manifest for yourself the life you are dreaming of, and for the collective, the kind of a world you want us all to live in. Through your womb, beloved, you are the creatrix of the new earth. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to the miracle of life. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are always, always connected to the frequency of love and truth. Activate this knowing now. Through your womb, beloved, you are intricately connected to your divinity. Activate this knowing now. So as you're allowing all of this to land, to integrate, take a moment to notice how you are feeling right now. What's happening inside your body, inside your womb? What emotions are there at the surface? Are you ready to walk the path of love? Are you ready to become a womb-centered New Earth leader? Are you ready to weave the new into being? Remember that you are divinity itself. Remember that you are a divine spark. Remember that you are a miracle. And let's take one more deep, deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then you can slowly start to bring your awareness to the rest of your body. Taking in the sounds around you. Perhaps wiggling your fingers and your toes or stretching your body, swaying your body. And when you are ready, and there's absolutely no rush here, but when you are ready, open your eyes. Welcome back.
Oh, wow, Amy. Thank you. I'm not going to say much to influence. I won't influence everyone else, but I just want to say that you said earlier that when we connect with our wounds, we're here now. And that's absolutely what I feel like now. And that activation was so powerful. Imagine listening to that every morning and connecting with our wounds every morning. Yes, let's get ready for the sacred womb revolution. So thank you so, so much for that. Thank you. And for all the women at home, what is one little practice they could do to just connect with their womb daily, to have that gentle connection and even remember what they've just experienced, I guess?
Yeah, well, a really beautiful, simple practice is just to place your hands over the womb on the lower belly and feel the warmth of your palms against your lower belly. That in and of itself already starts to form that sacred connection with the womb. And then you can take a few deep breaths, close your eyes and connect with the womb. Again, say hello to her, smile at her, honor her for a moment, and then tune into her energy. Just notice what is going on inside the womb space and ask your womb, how are you? what do you need? And it may be that you receive a response immediately. Happens to so many of us, even if we're new to womb work. And sometimes it will take a little bit of practice before the womb starts to speak to us. Remember, our wombs can also be quite numb. Our wombs have also been silenced for a long time. So it can take a little bit of time for her to come back online. But this little connection, this little daily honoring, connecting with her, smiling at her, and talking to her is what is going to start to build that holy communion between you and your womb.
Wow, that holy communion between you and your womb. Yeah, and it's that simple.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to, we often make things so very complicated and complex in our human minds, but it can be just as simple as that. And it is in that simplicity that its power lies.
Mhm. Yeah. So as we wrap up, Emmy, what's one final message you'd like to leave the women with about their womb?
Mm. It is never ever too late to form that connection. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what kinds of life experiences you've had. It doesn't matter if you have a physical womb or not. You can learn to connect with her. And if there's one thing I can guarantee, it is the fact that your womb has been waiting for you. So the sooner you can start to form that connection and that communion, the sooner that healing of the womb, and through that, the healing of the whole body, and through that, the healing of the consciousness, and then through ripple impact, the collective consciousness will also start to happen.
We just have no idea how powerful we are, do we? Until we start reconnecting with ourselves and remembering. Thank you, Emmy. There's one question I'm asking every speaker, and it's now that you know what you know, what would you tell your younger self today? What would you tell her?
Oh my goodness me. I think the most powerful thing I could tell her is that you are loved and accepted exactly the way you are.
Mhm.
And the power that you hold within yourself is the power that will carry you through.
Thank you for that. Thank you. And so you have a free gift for everyone. So it's called You Are America Activation. And for everyone listening, it's just here on this page under this video. So please click on the link and take advantage of downloading this beautiful activation from Emmy. And Emmy, would you like to speak into this activation in any way and what people can expect?
Well, it's a meditative transmission that I received a couple of years ago from the wise old crone. And it literally is a reminder, a remembering of the fact that you are a miracle. And it encourages you and inspires you to live as that miracle every single day.
Mm, amazing. I'm looking forward to downloading it myself too. And for anyone who'd like to follow you, continue this work, so your website link will be here on this page. But is there anything upcoming that you'd like to speak into? Any activations that you do regularly? Where can women continue to connect with you and with their wombs?
Well, the easiest place to connect is indeed my website, but then I also have a email newsletter list that I post to quite regularly. So that is probably the best place if you want to hear
Best.
about
Yeah.
upcoming work. So I do a lot of online ceremonies, online workshops, online programs that are predominantly about learning to connect with the womb and going deeper, spiraling deeper with that connection and learning to truly work with the magic and the wonder of the womb. And I do one-on-one work as well. And that is deep work. That is shadow work. That is trauma healing work. So for those of you who really truly feel the call to walk the path of love and are ready to look at the wounding and the trauma so that you can then become who you are meant to be, then these one-on-one containers are the most powerful ways to work with me. And then there are also retreats. I don't know which retreat I'm yet doing this year, but Denise, you've been in Egypt with me twice.
Twice.
Yes.
Yes.
Um, those, of course, because you are in the presence of each other and you are taking in the energies of the place that you are in as well. They are very, very beautiful, powerful, deep dives as well. So, but join my newsletter. That is the easiest way to keep in touch. And I'm also relatively active on Instagram and YouTube. So you'll find me under Feminine Revered on both of those.
Oh, so much, Emmy. So much. Listen, thank you for such a powerful, activating, and I guess invitation for women today in this conversation, an invitation to reconnect with their wombs, join the sacred revolution. And I'd like to thank you for all that such important work you're bringing to the world and how you're helping us remember the power that lies innately within our bodies. So thank you again, Emily. And thank you all for listening. And I will see you in the next conversation.
Thank you.